Here we grow. Tonight we're launching a special series about the future of Wilmington.
You're going to get thousands of new neighbors soon, so we're digging deeper to find out what's being done now to get ready for the impact on your schools, your homes, your jobs, and let's face it, your way of life. WECT's Ashley Kozakowski kicks it off tonight. A look at what's coming to keep you moving on the ground and in the air.
Wilmington is taking off. The population is expected to soar over the next 25 years. So what does that mean for our roads, our rails, and our skies? That's what we wanted to know. First up, planes. Right now, 800,000 people travel through ILM a year. In 2023, that number is expected to double, which means there are big plans in the works to handle all those passengers.
This is the gate area that we have today.
Airport Director Julie Wilsey says they have plans to double the number of gates and grow parking at the airport.
This is a short-term parking deck, and this is the parking deck for the rental cars.
The project could cost $58 to $80 million, money that will come from federal grants. Meantime, the airport is seeing an uptick in its corporate business, with more companies building private hangars for their private jets. And the campus here is growing too, with a business park and plans for a hotel right next to ILM.
We still need to grow a little more, probably, before we're ready for the hotel.
But Wilsey is assuring passengers, despite all the changes coming to the airport, it won't lose its hometown feel.
All the comments that we get from first-time visitors or people who move here, they really love this airport because it has that hometown feel.
Plans are chugging along when it comes to the future of trains in Wilmington. An effort is underway to realign the rail. Laura Padgett is leading a group tasked to study the tracks in town.
They say make no small plans.
The big idea? Take the CSX rail line that currently winds through the city and move those tracks over the Cape Fear River for a faster route into the growing port of Wilmington. On this map, the new path to the port is in red. Then take the current commercial tracks and make a trolley system for commuters, like the light rail and streetcars in Charlotte.
It would connect a lot of people that already live in town, but it also creates amazing housing opportunities for people to get around without being dependent on a car.
Right now, the Rail Realignment Task Force is working to select an engineering firm for a feasibility study. Padgett says she expects getting this all done will take a public-private partnership.
We think it can happen. A lot of people think it can happen.
Now to what's happening to keep you moving on the roads.
Moving traffic, moving our citizens and our commerce has always been in the top 5 priorities of City Council.
Glenn Harbeck is Wilmington's Director of Planning, Development, and Transportation. He says more mixed-use projects with shopping, offices, and dining are being planned, and those reduce the time and distance drivers have to travel, which decreases congestion. The city also plans to build more bike and pedestrian pathways, and he says they continue to tweak traffic signals to help things run more smoothly. A rough spot for many of you when it comes to travel, the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. Just a few weeks ago, some sat for hours in a frustrating traffic jam caused by emergency construction on the other side of the bridge. I asked Harbeck about the future of getting another bridge to cross the Cape Fear River.
That has been a long, agonizingly long project, and we're still 2 years away from having a decision on a selected route across the river.
2 years and millions of dollars.
Ballpark numbers that I'm aware of, I've heard if we were to try to do a fixed span bridge south of the state ports, where you have to go up pretty high and the river's a lot wider, you're looking at, I've seen numbers of $1.2 billion. Does Wilmington have the political leverage and clout to command that kind of attention? That's a good question.
And there is so much to talk about when it comes to growth in our area. Our next story is Thursday night. Fran is looking at the real estate market, and I have more details on the projects we talked about in this story And we'll keep adding stories to our special section on our website of WECT.com. Just click on the Here We Grow banner there on the homepage. I'm Ashley Kozakowski reporting for WECT News.
We're continuing our special series of reports on Wilmington's growth. All right, here we go. I'm going to take you inside the real estate explosion and look for answers to two important questions. Will we have enough space? And how affordable is it to live here? With its picturesque riverfront and nearby beaches, Wilmington is considered one of the most desirable places to live in North Carolina. Over the next 25 years, 60,000 more people are expected to live here. Right now, there are three areas that dominate development: 17th Street Extension, the new River Road, and downtown Wilmington.
I've never seen downtown Wilmington as healthy as it is right now.
Glenn Harbeck is the Director of Planning and Development for the City of Wilmington. He says in all of his years of planning for this city, he's never seen anything like this. But he's not surprised.
No, because we're coming out of the Great Recession.
From about 2008 to 2012, Wilmington saw little, if any, development.
So we've had pent-up demand, and so the floodgates have kind of opened.
Over the past 12 months, there's been a deluge in downtown Wilmington.
With retail, restaurants, farming on front getting ready to open, so there'll be grocery downtown again. The Performance Arts Center, which I think is probably the biggest game changer for this part of downtown of anything in the past 25 years.
Jimmy Hopkins is one of the top sellers in the local real estate market. He's also leading the team that will sell one of Wilmington's newest developments, River Place. It will go here at Front and Chestnut once the Water Street parking deck is demolished over the summer.
Chestnut Street will be reopened all the way down to the river again. Bijou Park across the street will be opened all the way to the river. So there'll be a combination public space, there'll be a combination retail, and of course condominiums, 90 condominiums.
Just a few miles down the river, another new major project, River Lights.
It's the largest development going on. It's the largest undeveloped track in Wilmington.
Livian Jones is Vice President of Operations for the new project off the new River Road.
It'll be 2,500 home sites when we're built out.
And then there's the 17th Street Extension. This 34 acres of land will soon become home to Point at Barclay, a retail development that will include restaurants, shops, and a 14-screen movie theater. Across the street, the Forks, a housing development already built and on the market.
We offer townhomes in the range of $335,000 average, and our single-family homes are just a little over $400,000.
Now, while all of this new development appears to be a good thing, there are three areas of concern: space, affordability, and the possibility of another recession. Right now, there are about 1,500 homes on the market in Wilmington with a median sales price of $196,000. Paul D'Angelo of the Cape for Housing Coalition says these new developments are great, but the cost is a far cry from what many Wilmingtonians can afford.
There is a little bit of a miss when it comes to housing that's affordable for the general population, where about 60% of our workers in town are lower income or moderate workers making about $10 to $12 an hour.
The Cape for Housing Coalition recently put out a survey asking for input from local residents on how to get more affordable housing in Wilmington. They hope to reveal the findings in the next couple of months. Meanwhile, space. Glenn Harbeck says the city has about 7,000 vacant acres, but only about 3,000 can be built on. So where are people going to go?
The expression that we're using in the city these days is, since we're not going outward, we're going inward and upward.
Harbeck says Wilmington is joining a growing trend in other cities like Raleigh, Greensboro, and Asheville.
Where there's an urban center, the millennials want to be there.
But the attraction of downtown areas is expanding to baby boomers and empty nesters who no longer want the big house or the yard work. As for a repeat recession, well, no one has a crystal ball, but the developers are moving forward full steam ahead.
We build across the country, and we go to areas that are experiencing growth. And one of the reasons we put this project on hold back in 2006-07 was because of the economy. And I believe, with us starting things back up a year and a half ago, it shows optimism in the market and some things that are going on. The market's strong right now, and we hope it stays that way.
Hopkins says he has no reservations about the floodgates and believes no matter what, Wilmington will always find a way to stay afloat.
Wilmington has a special place in people's hearts. The area, the climate, the proximity to medical, to airports, to the Triangle, to universities, to the arts. So I'm not surprised that Wilmington has rebounded. It's always going to be a great place to live.
It is indeed. You know, there is that question, will there be another recession? Well, there is no crystal ball. No one can answer that for sure. But real estate experts tell us that expansions like what Wilmington is going through right now typically last 4 to 7 years. They say a steady 3 to 4% appreciation per year looks sustainable for the foreseeable future.
Leaders in New Hanover County are projecting the population is going to grow by tens of thousands of people in the next 25 years.
Yes, some of them will be school-age children attending our already overcrowded public school system. As we continue our Here We Grow series, WECT's Ann McAdams investigates how our schools are preparing for all those new students. Ann?
1,000 extra students, Fran. That's how many New Hanover County schools expect over the next decade alone. Here's where all those students will go and some of the new schools already being planned. It will take 6 years to complete the projects voters already funded through the 2014 school bond. Porters Neck Elementary is under construction and will house 600 students when finished. But a recent state mandate means it will hardly fix our elementary overcrowding problem.
The state has made the decision to lower the classroom size from K to 3, and their intentions are honorable so that those children will be in an environment to learn more. The downside is that you have to have more classrooms, i.e. more schools. Instead of 21 students per class in grades kindergarten through 3rd, the new cap is 18. That leaves school administrators to figure out where to put all the extra kids who no longer fit in existing classrooms.
That's 828 students, and that's almost 2 elementary schools. So with that reduction in class size, that puts us further behind by 2 elementary schools.
One bright spot, the developers of River Lights, the huge community underway along River Road, have donated land for a future elementary school. That's a big deal, but the county still has to come up with the money to build the school.
The property tax revenue and sales tax revenue that comes in from those new folks incrementally coming in does not cover the cost of infrastructure cost, i.e. schools and etc.
So another school bond is on the horizon. The only question is when.
You have to be prudent and responsible in how you put more debt on your community. Can we afford it? Yes, but you've got to do that with some moderation. And that's tough. That's the counterweight to where we are right now with catch-up. Schools don't get funded usually until there's a crisis.
In the meantime, school administrators are getting creative, handling intense overcrowding at the high school level. They plan to turn Trask Middle School into a 9th grade feeder school for Laney High, which is overcrowded by more than 700 students this year. A replacement middle school will be housed in the old Rock Church on Sidbury Road. But funding for that school has yet to be approved. School administrators are also planning to partner with Cape Fear Community College to put a vocational high school on their north campus.
Do the benefits outweigh the risk?
And pull 500 vocational students out of the traditional high schools.
We're partnering with them. We don't have to spend money on equipment and labs. They're already there. We would just build classrooms that would be used during the daytime by high school students, nighttime by community college students.
But in the long run, 5 to 10 years from now, projections show we are going to need to build another traditional high school.
Every day that we wait to fund these needs, they just continue to get more and more expensive.
And land gets more and more scarce.
And land gets more and more scarce and consequently more expensive to develop.
School construction costs shot up 40% in the last 5 years, meaning our bond dollars won't go as far as they might have. On top of building new schools, the school board has to decide which students to send to them, and they are planning to redistrict in 2019. For more details on that, you can check out this story on our website, WECT.com. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Ann McAdams.
We're going to continue our special series of reports now looking at Wilmington's growth, the explosion of Wilmington's growth. Let's join John now with a look at that.
Friends, 60,000 new people could come to Wilmington over the next 25 years. Now, we've already looked at where those people might live and where they might shop and where their kids might go to school. But another big question is, where will they work? Add those visitors to the graduating high school and even college students. That's a lot of resumes hitting the market. Tonight, we're looking at the types of jobs that could be available as Wilmington continues to grow. Every step Paige Blankenship takes at UNC Wilmington brings her closer to finishing her film studies degree.
Here we go. Action.
And closer to life in the real world. Problem is, she hasn't found a full-time job.
I heard all these rumors that it was the Hollywood of the East, and at the time it was. So I thought maybe there is an opportunity for me in Wilmington, maybe a long-term career is in place. But as time went on, I started to wonder if that was a possibility.
Blankenship and thousands of others will join what could be a growing pool of unemployed people. As Wilmington grows, the job market is only going to get more competitive unless more jobs become available.
The students are looking for a good paying job at the beach is what they're looking for.
Adam Jones is an assistant professor and regional economist at UNCW. He believes the area beaches and tourism will continue to be two of Wilmington's biggest draws, helping to grow the number of service jobs in the next quarter century. But those are not the careers most high school and college grads want.
I think we'll also start to see more traded sector companies looking here. So if not necessarily large manufacturing plants, larger companies. So as Wilmington grows in size, it's going to be large enough to support some of these.
Traded sector companies like Corning or GE or Vertex, companies that produce products here and sell them outside of Wilmington. Companies with long-term, good-paying jobs.
Look, there's a concern about the economy still.
Scott Satterfield with Wilmington Business Development is working to land that next big company. But then again, so is everyone else.
Because remember, our competition isn't just within the state or within the southeastern United States or within the United States. It's an international competition.
Both Satterfield and Jones say having the land prepped and ready to go for construction is essential for growth. This is a perfect example, located on the Brunswick-Columbus County line. Pender's Business Park is another. They also agree that running water and sewer lines under the Cape Fear River and extending those key services along the Highway 421 corridor will make that area enticing for companies looking to open up shop.
Otherwise, it's just a piece of real estate with no real opportunities to bring their business. And so it would accelerate us and put us on a fast track, and it would really put us in the ballpark with places like Charleston and Savannah to be competitive.
Wilmington is also competing with ports in both Charleston and Savannah. Crews are widening the river's turning basin so bigger ships can do business here. Getting back to Blankenship's big dreams of working in the film industry, well, the film incentive ship sailed a few years ago and took some television and movie production with it. 2 shows are shooting right now. Planners and economists say we should try to grow the industry, calling it desirable. The desire to work in Wilmington is one thing, but landing a fulfilling full-time job in your field is another.
So I have to decide, where do I go? Do I stay here and try to find another opportunity that will keep me fulfilled and keep me alive with a roof over my head? Or do I leave town and go somewhere like New York where I know there's going to be a job?
Well, that's a question many grads are asking themselves. Both Adam and Scott told me they see opportunities developing here with jobs as Wilmington grows. Quality of life is a big draw, and so is the state port, especially for industries that need to ship their products to other areas. They say Wilmington really kind of needs to decide what it wants to be and then take steps to get there. That requires planning and a commitment to bring in the jobs that your new neighbors will be looking for in the next 25 years.